As we observe Epilepsy Awareness Month, we're focusing on the unique challenges, myths and stigmas surrounding epilepsy. So joining us to virtually share some insights on how families can provide support and break down barriers and empower individuals living with epilepsy to lead fulfilling lives is a researcher psychologist, Dr. Ofhani Netshisaulu, who joins us now. Doc, thank you so much for your time and we do appreciate it. So stigma, is still a challenge, but not often spoken about is the burden for family members and caregivers who care for people with epilepsy, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. I mean, we always think about the patient, which is good, but for every patient that is affected, there is a parent who is a primary caregiver. There are brothers, there are sisters, there are cousins, that also carry the same burden of having to care for the person living with epilepsy. So it goes a bit wider than just looking into the patient. Yeah.
And I want to talk a bit about, the Epilepsy Awareness Program that you had developed. Talk to us a bit about that.
Yes, thank you. So for my PhD, what I did is I looked at community members, people living with epilepsy, family members and caregivers, and healthcare providers' levels of knowledge, awareness, and practices towards epilepsy. And from that data, what I did then is I then formulated an awareness program that now targets the particular misconceptions and the miseducation that these particular groups had towards epilepsy. So the program has two parts. It's in two parts. Yeah. So the first part is demystifying epilepsy myths, and the second part is just about how do you care for epileptic patients, and just some recommendations for family members and caregivers in terms of how they can be supported.
And in fact, in that program, you also made some recommendations, as you speak about, for example, towards policy change around lessening the burden on families and caregivers. Talk to us about some of those recommendations and how those could be used, to help those who care for people with epilepsy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the policy that I was looking at mostly was the health promotion policy. So it focuses on awareness as well as education towards for non-communicable diseases. But what it does not specifically encourage is demystifying or educating the community members on these non-communicable diseases, specifically focusing on the stigma attached to the disorders and the discrimination attached. So the social aspect of the health promotion policy needs to be worked on a little bit more, and in that will eventually increase the quality of life for the patients and as well as the family members and caregivers.
Yeah, but equally important, I guess, would be the consciousness around information sharing on epilepsy, because what people know about epilepsy is shared, I would guess, amongst neighbors, families, but there is an importance that needs to be placed on sharing factual and accurate information about epilepsy, isn't it?
100%. I mean, the things that we know, mostly it's not through books. It's not through us doing research. It's like what you're saying, what the neighbor says, what your friend says, and also what you see. I'm pretty sure that maybe before you heard someone talk about epilepsy, there's some people that have seen an epileptic seizure. And from there, they begin to create ideas around what epilepsy is and how it affects the person. And from there, you find that now stigmas come into life, because then they have a misconception about what epilepsy is. They have a misconception about the diagnosis and the causes. And now when they go and talk to their friends and their friends say, hey, I saw someone had this and they were bewitched, or, whatever it is that they're probably coming up with. But word of mouth is really, really important. And it's important for us to also share accurate information. And if we don't know, can we just say that we don't know? And let's, find out. Let's find out accurate information. It's available online. It's available, also through books and so forth. And also communicating with people that are actually living with epilepsy. Because one of the things that we found is that they also struggle in terms of clearly communicating what it is that they are going through and also how they can be supported, mostly because of the discrimination and the social stigma that is now attached to them. So they are unable to reach out for that social support amongst their peers.